Subtitles aren't necessary. We need subtitles anyway. TLDR at bottom. Please forgive any grammatical mistakes etc. It's been about 15 years since this happened, so some details are a bit hazy. This story goes back many years to when I was doing my AS levels, one of which was in drama. I, F, was working in a group of 5, same age but mixed genders. So 3 males and 2 females. One of our assignments was to direct and shoot a 510-minute single location scene. And the script we wrote was about a man meeting his friends in a pub to tell them he was relocating to Saudi Arabia to work on an oil rig, only for his girlfriend to walk in and overhear this. At which point she goes crazy because he hadn't told her yet, before she admits she was cheating on him with one of his friends in the pub. And she runs out. I know. It's an incredible plot. Anyway, one of the boys' fathers owned a local pub, so we had free rein to film whatever we wanted, on location, as long as the pub wasn't too busy. Let's call the boy Matt. Matt had decided this made him project lead, which wasn't an issue. We got the filming and editing done pretty uneventfully, with Matt also playing the main character, with the other boys and I playing his friends. The other girl in the group played Matt's crazy girlfriend, with the publican, Matt's dad, and a couple of pub regulars acting as extras, wandering around in the pub, ordering drinks, the usual pub stuff. To be honest, I actually think the film came out reasonably well, terrible script notwithstanding. At some point whilst we were finishing up the assignment, Matt had the fantastic idea to include subtitles in the film. Whilst this was long before the days of what we now know as diversity, inclusion and clever caption generating software, it was a good idea but would take ages to add subtitles to the film via what was essentially Windows Movie Maker with a few extra features. We had divided up the work evenly, but I was the one who had the job to edit everything together. I said this would add a lot of work to my share, which wasn't fair, and I didn't even think it was necessary. I even emailed our tutor asking if we needed to add subtitles, who simply replied with, "That takes hours. Your script will suffice. Subtitles won't be assessed." But no. Matt was insistent that we needed subtitles and managed to convince 2 of the other students to back him up. I should also add that apart from asking his dad to film in the pub and acting as the main character, Matt had cleverly managed to avoid doing any of the actual work he had said he was responsible for, the script. But at some point we realized that he'd just offered the idea, and everybody else helped write the script whilst sat around a table. None of us really picked this up until very late into the project, by which point it was too late to do anything. So, malicious compliance time. I set about adding the subtitles as requested, but I regularly threw in some nonsensical subtitles just for the main character, played by Matt. Examples include, "Now you want to make a big deal out of it all," being changed to, "Now you wanna make it all a big deal out of it all. How come you didn't tell me about this?" became, "Heard comedy didn't tell me." A booties and really reliable reservoir of oil was subtitled as "Rabble rabble rabble raw oil." I wasn't just trying to screw around with the project. Due to a combination of Matt's accent, his very fast-speaking voice, and a slightly muffled microphone, upon watching the video back, the nonsense subtitles actually fit quite well, adding a little comedy to what was otherwise a pretty dry 8 minutes of film. Furthermore, as the subtitles weren't being assessed, I could have just written BRAINNSSS for everything and it would have made no difference. When I finally finished editing everything, including the nonsense subtitles, I had 2 versions of the assignment. One proper submission with no subtitles, and one with subtitles. To make it obvious which one was our official submission, I added a title card to the non-subtitled version with our module number, student names and candidate numbers, whereas the subtitled version just went straight into the scene as well as naming the submission file Group 6 Video Submission.avi, whereas the subtitled version was output to WMV or something. I burned both versions to a CD. Yes, I'm that old. And brought them in the next day, which was assignment hand-in day. The group sat around a computer and watched the final playback of the subtitled assignment. To say that Matt was less than impressed was an understatement. He switched off the computer as soon as he realized what I'd done, and stormed out of the room. However, we had no time to change the subtitles, and ended up submitting both versions with our script and reports. We didn't have online submissions at the time, so we had to physically hand in everything to the tutor, all paper-based, with a single CD containing both versions of the film. Whilst Matt wasn't happy, the rest of the group found it highly amusing, and weren't too bothered as the proper submission, the subtitle-free one, was exactly as expected. When we got our assessment results back, we had scored well, but amongst the general feedback from the tutor, the last comment read, "The subtitled version adds a new layer of depth to the protagonist, with his portrayal allowing the viewer to draw their own context. Is the character drunk? Is the character experiencing a mental breakdown? These questions add to the viewer's investment into the protagonist. Well done." Matt, who had refused to speak to me for the weeks since the submission, went beetroot red when he saw the comment. We'd met as a group again to get our results, and, similar to what he'd done when he first saw the video, Matt put his copy of the results in his bag and stormed out of the classroom. He remained indignant for a while before he quietly admitted that he never saw the subtitles adding that much to the film, but was clearly wrong. At the end of my A-levels, I found out that our tutor also taught Matt in another subject that year, where he was similarly authoritative and didn't do much of the actual work. The tutor had seen straight through my nonsense subtitles but found it funny enough to play along. In order to knock Matt down a peg, I was rather hoping that he would disregard the subtitled version of the film and just grade the normal one. But this worked out much better. Sadly, I never spoke to Matt again after that assignment, as that was the only class we shared together. And the next group assignment was with some other classmates. TLDR. Fellow student tries to act like the project lead without really doing any of the work. He demands that I add subtitles, which aren't necessary and aren't being assessed. So I do so, making his character seem incomprehensible. Tutor picks up on this and plays along. When Matt saw the subtitles, did he say, "Wajja go auto that for?" I can see this as Matt confessing at the Oscars. Hilarious and humbling. We all make mistakes. Some learn. Was he Cornish? I have to admit that I would need subtitles for that. And your subtitles rather sound like a transliteration of a Cornish accent. Forgive me. I'm an ignorant American Anglophile. Group film projects are something special. You're much more likely to get the lazy group members who took film as an elective because they wanted to watch movies for a period. I brought a completed script to our short film project on day one and worked out the storyboard with another guy that actually had an interest in film. Then there was our sound editor who took my ramblings and managed to find the perfect background noise. Then we had an actor that did some editing here and there. Then there was the guy that insisted on drawing 5 shots in the storyboard and predictably brought them up when I mentioned that I and the director of photography, also the lead editor and the guy that did the storyboard, had written and planned the entire project while he wrote a sentence explaining what we did every day and hogged the computer while we were trying to location scout on Google Maps to show us all The places he used to trap. That guy was the least genuine person I'd ever met. Missed a trick. You could have captioned Matt saying, "I skived all week, and my buddies did all my work." A levels translation please. Why, sadly. I'd have been happy never to see him again. And no sidewinder, bushwhacking, hornswoggling, cracker croaker, is going to ruin my biscuit cutter. So, like real auto-generated subtitles. Really nicely written, loved it. This story goes back many years when I was doing as levels. Thanks for making me feel old as the first year to sit them. Rolling on the floor, laughing, 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 rolling on the floor, laughing.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.